Well, hello there, everyone. Happy New Year. Not quite there yet, obviously, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So, it has been it's been a little bit of a while. I have been absolutely up to my eyes in work, and of course, trying to balance the holiday family commitments. But it's been nice. We've been oh, thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. We have been working away. Brought a bunch of new people onto the team. Um, you might know a few of them already. Anthony in the chat, a few other guys who are experienced web developers, experienced project managers, and well, combined with our existing expertise, we are cooking. I this is it's been something we've been needing to do for a while. I will say that. I'm a developer. I love developing, but I'm also the CEO. It's just nice to have other people handling the JavaScript, handling the Svelte, uh, a lot of the stuff that previously I was helping out a ton with. So we we're actually having a lot of fun just kind of evolving how we do development and I guess doing what as a startup you do. So we can go ahead and consider this AMA open. Go ahead, ask any questions you've got. I've got about a half hour. And otherwise, I'll just go on and talk about Revest and talk about what we've been up to this year, talk about where we're headed next year, um, quietly probably hint about the stuff that we are already solidified on. And, we'll just go from there. So, anyone got any questions, anything you'd like to ask? Should probably go ahead and have someone copy paste this to Twitter. But let's just go ahead and start talking. Let me just go ahead and get this copied. Do win moon soon, sir. Moon soon. Uh, oh man, that's good. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Jesus Christ, y'all have no idea what's coming. No one has any idea what's coming up, and that honestly is eating up more of my December than I'd like. It's with these projects. You've got a bunch of people involved. There's always lots of little gears that may need some grease. People get busy with other stuff, and then you have to go back and fix various features that needed fixing in JavaScript. But it's happening, and that's all I'm saying. Okay, what can we do with Revest on Phantom, and when can we do more? So let me first just get this thing in the Discord. I realized that I had totally forgotten to tell someone to post it there. Yeah, okay, there we go. So yeah, Phantom. So Phantom's a really interesting case. Basically, what we've figured out as a team is that when we're talking about revenue streams, what we need really is a consumer-facing product. And we've got several of those currently in the development pipeline. Should be coming out, well, early January for the very first one. Then late January, you'll start seeing several of the others. And those are the kinds of things that are going to be generating revenue pretty much every day. You've actually already seen one of the partnership announcements. That's the partnership announcement with Exodia. But what we're doing in terms of Phantom, beyond just partnering with really great people on there, Phantom Alerts and I have become buddies. I'm actually probably hanging out with him in Miami sometime around MLK Day. Is we are kind of angling to get into the Phantom Rewards program, and this, I think, to me acts as, when I'm talking about just business development, actually running the business side of Revest, not just the development side. This is huge because actually having a stable revenue stream is it's key to success in any business. And Revest with these more consumer facing stuff, we're targeting those markets now, But in the meantime, we need something to hold us over, if you will, kind of act as a substrate to build upon, I suppose is a good way to put it. A continuous income stream that's consistent and constant. And that's where Phantom comes in, because Phantom has a rewards program for generating large amounts of TVL. And what that means is that we need to find, 1, 2 projects to lock on Phantom. Suddenly, okay, boom, we've got 20, $40 million locked. At $20 million locked on Phantom, the Phantom Foundation starts to pay you $1 million over the course of a year. At 40 million, they pay you $2 million over the course of a year. And I don't think that you have to have a degree, a doctoral degree, to be able to guess where that money will go, because it's to you guys. We're gonna take that money and we're just gonna turn it into staking revenue streams, and that should provide a pretty good undercurrent of just constant, consistent income from that money. So, basic general strategy right now in terms of pure business development is: one, get that much money locked on Phantom; two, get those retail products out the door so that we have consumer applications for Revest and can start generating revenue on top of that substrate that we've now laid down thanks to that rewards program. So I really like the applications of that, and I see that being very, very useful tool in our arsenal. Can I explain about how will we integrate with layer 2s and ZKs? That is a great question. I have absolutely no idea, because ZK rollup EVMs don't exist yet. Once they do, that honestly, there's 2 ways we can do it. We can do one where we do what we've done on all layer 2s so far and just deploy the protocol totally separate of any adapters. Bridging is a dangerous operation in a lot of cases. You see a lot of exploits involving bridges, and I generally like to avoid it. So my ideal use of ZKs would be, okay, someone takes an ERC20 token they want to lock, they bridge the token itself to the ZK rollup, and they use Revest, a separate Revest instance deployed on that ZK rollup EVM, to lock up those tokens there for fractions of the gas cost. Then it unlocks, and then they can pull the tokens back down to the main chain if they want. That all said, it is quite possible that once those things come active, I'm gonna guess probably Q2 2022. It's into Q2, I guess. It's going to be a while. EVMs are complicated animals, and all the stuff we've seen so far on ZK rollups isn't actually EVM. I think ZK Sync's one of the few who's doing it. There may be a few others, but the general idea, though, is once we see those things kind of get a little bit maturity, actually leave beta or even just leave alpha, then we can start talking about, okay, Revest can integrate adapters so you can actually roll up an FNFT from the main chain onto a ZK rollup. That would be interesting, a lot more complex, a lot more dangerous, just because of, bridges in general, but it's definitely doable. So we're going to see about it. Well, when the time comes. Could I explain about lunch to moon? No, sir. No, I cannot explain any more than I've already said. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut, and I'm going to let the people who need to do the explaining, if there's explaining to do the explaining. Message retracted. Is that like a reference to something, or did you just actually remove the message? Not quite sure. Can I talk about blocks? Yeah, blocks is cool. We've those guys are fantastic. They've been working with Jeff, Adam, on just kind of integrating that into those ERC 777s into an informational storage system. So that's kind of still very early development, but the goal there is that, when you're talking about locks, we store the information for our locks, the metadata information, and not the metadata for the FNFTs, the metadata for the locks. So like, a combo lock or an admin time lock. We store all of that on IPFS as well. The thing is, though, IPFS records are not as permanent as the blockchain. They can eventually degrade, which is when we're talking about, FNFTs that are stored on IPFS, we actually dynamically can regenerate those whenever we want. That's just a simple get server request. And there's nothing unique about those IPFS links. But when we're talking about, like actual locks, well, those need to be consistent. So one of the cool ideas we've come up with the Blocks team is to use their ERC 777s for metadata storage for our locks, and also to kind of signal, okay, these are verified locks from the Revest team, eventually the Revest DAO. That the way that would work is that our deployer or our multi-sig, one of those two, would send an ERC 777 to that lock from us, and you'd be able to see this from us, so you can tell, okay, it's verified. And secondly, it would contain the metadata information for that lock, which you could then pull down on a front end and use to kind of render the information about the lock. It's a cool idea we're working on together. We're excited to see where it goes. Blocks is doing interesting stuff. So, but I will have more to say on that this coming week. We are having an AMA with them, I believe, Tuesday. So, yeah, ask me more then. So, when new update is coming? Um, which one? I guess that's my first question. The site itself is currently, well, the app is currently getting a pretty big overhaul in terms of UI. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, we brought some new guys on board recently, and we've just been doing massive amounts of work on it. So you've seen the trusts already. The next thing that I'll probably be rolling out is the long discussed and long labored upon NFT locker that is happening. We've got most of the pages put together now. We're kind of populating the functionality to them. Finally finishing out the unit tests. Depending on the schedule, that may or may not end up being delayed by an audit. Not entirely sure. We are trying to get kind of this expanded area of contracts we have audited along the way. So I'm not sure how that's going to coincide with the launch of that product. There are a few other things that we're actually pursuing now that are probably going to launch after that, definitely launching after that, but will not be that shortly after. One of them I can't talk about. Another one I also really can't talk about that you guys asked me about a ton. And then another one, let's just say that we've had a lot of people who are interested in our staking system. And that's the thing about staking is that right now, and I really would love if anyone corrects me because, market research and all. As far as I can tell, there's no way to actually deploy a staking solution for a project on your own without having to, have a pretty good knowledge of Solidity. You can't, when you're talking about token deployments, if you're a small project and you just want a token, you don't even have that much Solidity knowledge. Okay, that's pretty easy. You just go off, you click a few buttons on a website, boom, you've got your own ERC20. I've seen a lot of people do that. No such product exists, as far as I can tell, for staking solutions, and definitely not something as interesting as what we have. So I'm not saying that we've committed to this yet, but we are certainly exploring the idea of, okay, what if Revest offers that? It definitely simplifies stuff when we're talking about, these more complex things we've been talking about forever: separation of principal, separation of yield. If it's actually just our own system and we know exactly what the endpoints are going to look like. So that's something that you may see sooner, you may see later. I'm not quite sure. We'll see how things go. But hey, that one I'm really excited about. Finally, going to be building out the interest page. Like I said, we've been doing a bit of team reorganization, just kind of the way that we develop things in a more formalized setting. I think this is something a lot of startups go through, where you start out and it's all busyness and everyone's doing every job, and you've got fairly well defined roles, but not that niche and collapsed. And then as you grow, what you do is you start implementing, okay, we're now going to use this software, we're going to use this method of organization, we're going to actually adhere to Agile a bit better because we use Agile, but we are improving our adherence to Agile. Let me just say that. So as that starts to come down the line, you're going to see just really more rapid development, I would say, rather than a project like the NFT locker that's taken a month and a half, 6 weeks, I'd say. You're going to see turnarounds on the order of like 2, 3, 4 weeks most. So it's exciting stuff, and we're really looking forward to showing you all what we have in store. So, are there any plans to integrate with Polkadot or Luna ecosystems in the future? I mean, hey, I'm entirely on board with deploying on, I think, Moon River, is it? I know a few things about it. It's an EVM. I don't think it's active. Polkadot kind of confuses me because I know their testnet's active, and I looked into that, and it's like, okay, it's a testnet. People are spending real money on it. I'm not entirely clear, but yeah, sure. It's an EVM. Revest can be on it, and there's no good reason for us not to be. So we are looking to kind of expand our outreach team as well. We've had one guy on that so far, and we're probably going to be pulling some more people into that beyond just the ambassadors. And the more people we have in there, the more outreach we can do to projects across different chains, which has really kind of been a limiting factor, deploying on way too many different chains. The last thing you want is to have, you know, yourself spread way too thin. But yeah, any EVM that exists, Revest can run on with absolutely no modifications. You're not going to have the Revest token on that platform, but yeah, certainly the protocol. Okay. Elon Musk and Lunch Moon. When lunch, sir? I bought 100K Revest. Never disappointed because I believe you. Thanks for all. Appreciate it, Armin. Thank you. Really glad, my friend. We are going to be doing some fantastic things this year, and I appreciate you for believing us, and I appreciate your patience. We are we've got a lot of good things in store for y'all, so I'm really excited to share them. When marketing will start? That's actually a great question. So we are actually got plan. I really should have. I just thank you for reminding me. I now realize, okay, I probably need to go add this to the update we just put out. But we're planning on pushing through a bunch of new marketing this year. Not terrible marketing. Not like, oh, we're gonna pay some influencers to shell our coin and just our coin, or we're gonna put our coin on a bunch of centralized marketplaces and pump the bags. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is real marketing. What I'm talking about is protocol focused marketing. So awareness marketing has been something we've been a little reticent to engage in just because, okay, what's the return on investment? How many people do we get for this investment? And what we're planning on starting 22 off with is kind of finally pushing that out of the way and just experimenting, because that's kind of what we figured out about cryptos. You just have to experiment. So we're going to be paying, this avenue a certain amount of money and just seeing what kind of returns we get on that investment. Once we find ones that are fruitful, more money toward that direction. And that's really the whole gist of our marketing plan. We are also actually, I got a meeting on Monday with a buddy of mine who's in marketing, and he may be joining the marketing team. So we'll have more people to do more work to just have more focus on that one central facet. And we're not going to be siloing ourselves. We're not, that's a bad idea, but we certainly are interested in expanding the team and kind of, more stratifying the roles within it, if that makes any sense. So when we talk about marketing, yes, you will see several new thrusts in 2022, and I'm really excited to see how they work because we got a lot of really cool stuff that we just want to get out there as much as possible. So expect that when you see new products. Anything with Binance, I'm gonna be honest. I still just don't like Binance. I I kind of wish I could because it seems like there's plenty of stuff to being done over there, but philosophically, and I don't like it. I feel like even just you know from a purely financial standpoint, I honestly am a little reticent to go anywhere near it just because it's a bit of a black mark on Binance to the point that you can actually damage your own reputation from being anywhere near associated with it. Now, that's not universally true. There are plenty of good projects on Binance, but I have noticed that in the crypto community, and I'm reluctant to engage with that or get us really anywhere near that sort of thing. So, not quite sure. Maybe there's a lot of EVMs out there now, and a lot of projects that I honestly like better than Binance. I'm really big Phantom guy these days, so you know, look for stuff in that area before Binance. But maybe. I'd really rather not. Okay, so how many full-time employees are there? I'd say somewhere around 4 or 5. I mean, we have a lot of part-time people, so like 20 hours a week. Full-time, it's not that huge of a roster. I think as we move forward more, we'll see more and more just actually, 40-hour a week at least type people. Already we're seeing that with some of the part-time guys. They're not exactly working just part-time. Uh, it's that kind of a community because like once people start working with us, it's fun. That's just it. It's enjoyable. We have a good time with each other. So yeah, that's a hard number to pin down, but I'd say around 4 or 5. Very excited about the staking stuff. We do have something deployed on Rinkeby, yes. So if you actually go over and you just switch this is actually something we're doing right now in the UI update, is we have a network switcher basically. So if you click on your wallet button, it'll actually show you all the networks that we're deployed on because honest to God, that's kind of one of the biggest things missing on our website is we don't have a list of the networks we're live on. So that's something we want to do is just get that out there. Say, okay, first of all, on the marketing site, yeah, we're on AVEX, we're on Polygon, we're on Phantom, we're on all these networks, and we want people to be aware of that. But we also want to make it easy to switch between them and make people aware that we're even, can switch between them. So Rinkby's been our test net forever. If you just switch your network on your MetaMask to Rinkeby, you can use Revest right now. We've even got a button that'll give you unlimited US dollars. I'm not kidding, actually. The mint method on US dollar coin on Rinkeby is totally unprotected. So switch to Rinkeby, hit that. I think it gives you like $10 billion. Something ridiculous. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, we're trying to make it easier to switch between networks, and that's something that y'all will see in this UI update. And you know what, actually, while we are talking, I showed this to another buddy of mine. Do I have Discord on this iPad? Yes, I do. Okay. I'm going to give you all a quick glimpse. Oh, I promise that was not deliberate. So that's what it looks like, at least right now. We're doing a little bit more refinement, but it's nearing completion. I'm really excited. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Todd. I'm glad that the community understands where I'm coming from on that. I've seen it kind of damage communities before. It's kind of like listing on a centralized exchange. And I mean, yeah, I could pump my own bags and make a ton of money, but that's not really my goal. I'd certainly like to make a ton of money, but honestly, I want to build something that actually, really contributes. We've already got halfway there. We've got the protocol. Now we just need to have the products that demonstrate the protocol and bring in that developer interest. That's kind of our thrust the next 6 months is building these projects that are, they're impressive, they're useful, they have real world applications right off the bat. But we're going to make the code for them open source. And we're going to leave it to, other devs who are like, oh, this is pretty cool. I bet I could do something even better with this. They can just come in, take the code that runs on top of Revest, go off with it, deploy their own thing that also runs on top of Revest, and that is our kind of master plan to expand the ecosystem out. Okay, geometric team on the CubeSat launch. I don't know who you're talking about or what you're talking about, and no comment, sir. So, how are the regulatory concerns conversations regarding FNFTs going, which you expressed in the Phantom podcast you did the past few weeks? So, quite well, actually. We're probably pushing derivatives a little bit down the road for a completely different reason, and that is NFT marketplaces. We're going to be looking to, build some partnerships with a few of the existing ones that are decentralized and already deployed. Probably reaching out to PaintSwap fairly soon. But right now, the regulatory landscape for us looks fine. The more problem is that OpenSea is very unreliable, and they like to flip flop. They like to say, okay, you can come over here with you can come in here with your Wolf game, financialized NFTs, sure thing. But you guys are doing staking from your NFTs. No, that's not okay. You can't do that. So OpenSea is unreliable on that topic, and we don't want to launch derivatives only for them to have no marketplace. So while our lawyers have basically told us, yeah, you can go right ahead. The SEC doesn't really know how they feel about crypto right now. And regardless of what their statements eventually come out to be, this is defensible. Um, so we're clear to go on that. We just need to make sure that when we launch that project, that product, that we actually have a place where people can turn around and do whatever they want with it, trade it with someone else. Though obviously, we can't tell them whether to do that or not. But we don't want that to just be like a flash in the pan that suddenly runs into a brick wall. It would be a waste of our time. It would be a waste of the community's time. It's just not. It's a bad idea to do unless things are properly set up. But then it's a really good idea. So it should be coming at some point this year. Oh, thank you, JD. I appreciate it. What about Matic, Mr. Todd? Matic's all right. I mean, there is the whole what is it, 5 of 8 multi-sig thing that a lot of people don't know that. But the entire Matic network is actually controlled by a 5 out of 8 multi-sig. I mean, that sort of thing makes sense to me in projects like ours, where I think what do we have, a 4 out of 7, 4 out of 8 now. We've been expanding our multi-sig to people like Phantom Alerts, people from inside our community lately, just to have some non-team members on board because it does increase security if you do that. But I feel like when you get to a protocol that size, you really should be DAO governed. That actually is another thing where I don't think it'll be Q1. It'll probably be Q2, Q3. But we are looking to kind of start moving in that direction of, okay, you guys are going to be in charge now. And hopefully you'll want to keep us on as, developers or even just presidents. We haven't fully kind of conceptualized how that's going to look, but it's definitely going to be exciting. We're looking forward to it, especially the increased security. Who are Revest's major competitors? I like I said this a dozen times. I don't really see any competitors other than the big boys, the big DeFi protocols. They are the people to aim to topple, to aim to be, to aim to beat. But even then, they could just easily be partners. No one's doing what we're doing. And no one's even really, some people have conceptualized what we're doing, but they're nowhere close. And I don't think they want to be. We're kind of our own thing, and we're very happy to be our own thing. It's pretty cool. So yeah, my answer to that is we don't have any. You guys are building the Lego blocks for others to exactly, JD. You get it. We are. I mean, I'm not going to compare us directly to Maker. I guess there is kind of a comparison there, or 0x. Either of those two kind of substrates of a lot of other protocols. Curve, good example. Compound. They form the bedrock on which other things can build. And that's kind of what Revest was always intended to be, is a substrate for NFT-based financial systems. Vesting, yeah, that's our first application, certainly, and our first market vertical. And we still got a few guys. I know 2 groups on Polygon who are going to be locking early January. But it's not at all our real purpose as a team. Our real purpose as a team was to make FNFTs a thing and explain that to the rest of crypto. And that's what we're doing. Okay. How do you think Revest can survive 3 to 4 years of bear market? Keep building. I don't. That's a kind of a complex question there, because one, that assumes that we're headed into 3 or 4 years of bear market, and two, I mean, I can tell you all crypto winter scenario what we do, but let's start with the first supposition. One, I don't really think that we are, not financial advice, headed into 3 to 4 years of crypto bear. I think we're in like a if I'm being honest. I think we're just at the end of year and people are selling off because they need to pay taxes. Uh, and they don't want to transfer that capital gains to next year. So that's kind of what's going on there, in my opinion. December is usually kind of that way. But the second thing is that were we to plunge into crypto winter tomorrow, um, everything collapses. It's all going to hell. Us, the team, we'll be fine. We we launched this with the full intent of building this for the next few years. That was the plan. That it, even if the market crashed tomorrow, that's still the plan. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to keep building. We honestly, I mean, if I'm being truly honest, I think we will do just as well in a bear as we are now. I think we can flourish anywhere, is what I'm getting at. Bear or no bear, what we're doing is fantastic, and I don't really worry about that, to be honest with you. Good technology and good community and good people are resistant to the whims of the market. Go look at somebody like Aave. Go look at somebody like Chainlink. Go look at any of the really big boys right now. They launched at the end of the last bull, and I mean they got hit, yes, during the collapse of 2017, but they kept working and they kept building, and it didn't stop them. They had the resources they needed to persist, and that's exactly what we would do in such a scenario. Persist. So I think we'd be just fine. Matic was a Binance IEO. Binance owns a lot of the supply. Oh wow, I did not actually know that, Mr. Todd. Uh, wow, that's quite the revelation there. Jesus. Yeah, I mean Matic's all right. Like I said, I'm a big Phantom guy these days. That's kind of where I've found a really good community of people who like what we're doing and who are into NFTs themselves in a big way. So it's natural fit. We've been having talks with people. We've got things unannounced. Well, you guys are going to like them. And to me, I think that right there, Phantom, it's pretty clearly going to be a huge contender for just, well, one, massive growth, but two, Phantom is pretty obviously going to be a ZK ultimately. I think a lot of the big L2s are, and that's just where that's going. That tech is headed toward ZK rollups, ultimately turning L2s into attached L1s. I don't know how to into true L2s, I guess. Yeah, true L2s is what I call that. So yeah, I'm I can't stop talking about Phantom. I guess I like it. What excites you about where Revest is heading in the near term, medium term, and long term? All right. This one is going to have to be the last question. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our 30 minutes, but go ahead and get into this. Whew. Near term. The NFT locker is cool. It's not my favorite. I like it, but it's not my favorite thing we're doing right now. I mean, the amortization. I think amortization is the right word. It's basically that's pretty cool. It's this idea I had the other day, and we're looking into. Well, we've been talking about kind of the general outline of it for a while, but it wasn't until now that we realized, oh wait, we could just build this. The concept that you can send money to a contract, it'll sell those tokens for say dollars, and then it'll take those dollars, like say you have $500,000 now, you'll never take possession of them. It'll lock them into five different FNFTs. It'll give you $100,000 immediately, and then lock up 100,000 for a year, another 100,000 for 2 years, another 100,000 for 3 years, another 100,000 for 4 years. And that means that you can take in, you only get possession of $100,000 a year, and that's useful. So I think that idea is pretty cool. We're not actively pursuing it yet, but it is something cool that we're kicking around. There's something I can't talk about that I think is really cool in the near term, but The staking ideas that we're tossing around right now, that's really exciting to me because that dovetails into my really kind of longer term, one of my favorites of, separating interest and principal. So I'd probably say that in the near term. If we're talking about the medium term, derivatives, derivatives, it's derivatives. Uh, there's no good solution for them right now in the space, and I think there's a lot of growth potential there. Like we've seen kind of a pivot. It's slowly pivoting away from meme coins back toward actual DeFi, but we've also still got that kind of meminess in there that I think makes more generalized, um, less, what's the word, curated derivative solutions a winner in the longer term. So I definitely think that when we do get that out the door, it'll be an absolute smash hit, and I'm really excited to see how that goes. In the longer term, oh, that's a tough question. Really, if we're just talking in generalities here, not even specific products, I'm just really excited to see what people do with this because that's the point. That's been the point the entire time. Is we give you these tools, you come up with something we've never even thought of, and it changes everything. So to me, financial NFTs are they're the obvious solution to a whole slate of things in crypto. And there's definitely stuff I haven't even thought of, like, oh, you can have like a weird credit score financial NFT wallet or something. You start doing stuff with, secure tokens and Revest may, we may be making forays into some of those, privacy chains. I can't say anything more than that. But there's a lot of just really interesting stuff that people who are not myself and the team will probably end up doing with FNFTs, and I'd say that just seeing what other people come up with is probably the thing that I'm most excited about long term because, you can be infinitely creative yourself, but people can still come up with ideas that you just never would have had in a million years and blow you out of the water. And it's always so cool when that happens. So, your plot, okay. Woo Jin Choi. A quick overview of how your platform is funded and how much cash runway you have. Are we VC funded? The answer to that is partially, a really tiny piece. So, of the seed round, and this really is the last question. This really is the last one. Um, of the seed round, about 25% of that was VCs, and that's 25% of about 19% of the total token supply, I suppose. So, pretty small. The rest of that was friends, family, fellow devs, people who bought negative entropy. But so yeah, I would not say that most of our funds are from VCs. Most of the cash runway we have, which I would estimate to be 2, 3 years, um, somewhere in that region. Because honestly, I don't know really what's a lot of that cash runway is in Ethereum. So right now it is about 2, 3 years, I'd say. Um, don't even get me started on taxes. Do not even get me started. But yeah, I'd say about 2, 3 years, and most of those funds came from the reservation event and the seed round. Well, all of those funds came from those two. Those were our only offerings, and for the foreseeable future, those are our only offerings. We don't have anything in reserve that we're planning to do a second round with, or any of that craziness you see some teams doing. No, no, we did our raises, and we're done with that. So, and to be completely honest, I do not want to go back to that. That is way, way too many conversations with, well, venture capitalists are decent people, but it's a lot of work running one of those things, and I'd much rather be building. So, thank you all so much for coming. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I hope you guys have had a fantastic year. Mine has been amazing. This, I am so grateful to you guys for making it so that I can do what I've been wanting to do my entire life. Been wanting to be some kind of an entrepreneur, inventor ever since I was a little kid, and I'm getting to do that right now instead of being a graduate student. And I'm so grateful to y'all. So, first of all, thank you so much for making my year because you quite literally have, next to my wedding. But thank you. It's been a fantastic 2021, and I'm really excited to see you guys and work with y'all in 2022. We've got a ton of amazing stuff coming. So, yeah, Happy New Year, and I will see you guys in 2022. Take care.